It's not perfect, but it doesn't have to be. How you doing?
Okay, I'm cool. I'm alright. Let me try with my two. It's not Bluetooth.
Something was breaking up a bit just now. How has your connection been today, internet-wise?
Internet-wise, it's okay. Like there are days where it's not that great.
Alright.
Wait, let me see. No, this converter is not working. I'm trying to plug in this split converter for my phone that it can charge and have the mic at the same time, but I don't think that's gonna work. So
I can hear you very good right now.
okay. Right now I'm just using my phone's I'm on speaker.
So we got two projectors on a call, both waiting for something to happen.
I was just thinking about that last night after you proposed the idea, or what or after I saw your message this morning. I'm like, yep. We're both gonna be waiting for the invitation. Or you know that if we had three projectors, you know that Spider-Man meme where they're all like pointing at each other.
Oh, I know. I haven't seen the meme, but I can assume. Yeah, it's that cheeky, you know. Oh, it's you. Oh, it's you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know, like, have you done your chart ever?
Yeah, I actually. Oh yeah, thanks for reminding me. Yeah, I actually was first made aware of human design in 2019. A friend online asked me about it. I was like, I wonder what your human design is. I'm like, what is that? And yeah, I've been meeting other people that, dove deep into it. So,
Do you know anything by heart? Like, what you have defined? What type of projector or anything? Just that you remember?
not too versed on the lines and channels and gates and stuff like that, or the centers, but um, emotional projector,
Mm-hmm.
solar plexus, right? Authority, 6'2" profile.
Interesting.
Yeah, role model hermit. Left angle cross of the alpha. Which I was like, well, that's not me, is it? And everybody's like, yeah, Fred. Step into power, bro. I'm like,
It's a it's a very different type of alpha.
yeah.
Yeah, 6'2". 6'2". How old are you?
34.
All right. So you know about the stages of a 6?
Yeah, I'm familiar. I got the gist of it. Like there are 3 life stages, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that cut off around certain ages. So I'm like waiting for the last stage when I'm like 50. I'm like, what's the I read about like an analogy for it. Like the second phase is like
On the
you're
roof.
on the roof. When you're older, you're like, I'm coming down.
Yeah, six is a very alien. You know, I'm a five, and six is like um, even like out there, like looking into the future from that roof. Do you feel like you're on the roof? How do you feel
Um,
at 34?
what does that entail exactly? On the roof,
Kind
if you
of
can
like
remind.
looking at the future of humanity, being objective about your life, stuff like that. Just observing mostly.
Yeah, I would say yes. It's like I'm present wherever I'm at. I show up to do things um in support and collaboration with my immediate space wherever I'm at. But it's also like as I show up, I can see myself like from a meta perspective and the things around me, my environment, people around me, just like taking it all in, right?
Mm.
Not necessarily knowing what that means or being mindful of attaching to what it could mean. I'm just taking it all in. And then for me, like uh in my experience so far, it's like, okay, I should just like allow it in, soak it all in, you know, and then when the time comes, it'll make sense. And it often does. So yeah.
What's it like having line two body? So like six is mind, and two is the
Uh-huh.
body, and hermit body is kind of like, at least what I know from, these things are of course very generalized. It doesn't have to be specifically like it says in the books. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but hermit is like you have very kind of niche, weird, specific things that you have to have. Something like a window cracked open at 45 degrees or something. That's and like, do you have stuff? Do you have stuff like that?
Like that, yeah, yeah. I'm
Talk
looking
about
around
it.
my room right now and just like, okay, I have sacred things in certain places, keeping the feng shui.
Mm.
There's cedar on my bookshelf and on my altar. Makes like a triangle. I don't know, it's things like that. I'm just like, huh. I don't often like I notice it because I do it, but I'm not thinking about it all the time. It's just like a regular pattern. But then if somebody asks me like you just did, it's like, huh, okay. It's like a little moment of like a new layer of self-awareness. Like, huh.
Nice. Um, do you know like the difference between having left angle and right angle?
I do not.
Mm. You want me to tell you about it?
Sure.
So if you have 5-1 like me, or 5-2, or you have 6-2 or 6-3, so 6-2 is you. So these four profiles are left angle, and they're like 4 out of 12. And then the other 8, which is the majority, is right angle. And left
Mhm.
angle, we are transpersonal, and right angle is personal. And the personal, like 60-ish, 70 percent of the population are kind of like enjoying their own trip. And then we transpersonal, we're kind of like tour guides. So is there something, do you feel like a tour guide for others more than, it's kind of
Um,
like I, mhm.
I mean, in a sense, um, my brain is going through all the possibilities of what that would look like. Tour guide. Can I give an example?
It's kind of like, uh,
No, can I give what I think is a good example?
mhm.
Can I share?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so tour guide, what that comes to mind is about 3 years ago, October 2020 portal.
Mm,
I invited a friend from high school, one of my best friends in Guam, and he's been straight edge his whole life, but I invited him to try some mushrooms with me on the beach.
mm,
And I had only one experience with a gram of mushrooms prior to that. You know, I was pretty new to it too. I was like, want to have this experience with me. So basically, he took me up on that offer, and I pretty much facilitated the trip. I didn't know what I was doing, but like I just went with what felt intuitive and like
mhm.
instinctive in the moment my body wanted to do. And yeah, he had 2 grams. I had about an eighth, 3.5 grams. Yeah, tour guide.
Nice. Yeah, something. Yeah, definitely something like that. It said kind of like the personal profiles are on their own, like train going somewhere, and transpersonal profiles are we are passengers on their trains, something like that.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. You use the train analogy because I've had a few dreams where I see a group or community of people that I'm a part of, and we live on a train, like
Mm.
traveling the country, helping people get out of the matrix. I'm like, what? Train.
Though you are, have you spent any time in your life like being nomadic before you settled into Rainbow Bridge?
Um, Essentially for the last 2 years, because I came out to the States in summer of 2021. Prior to that, I've been stationary for most of my life, so it's within the last 2 years that I have been somewhat nomadic,
Mm-hmm.
taking that fool's journey from the tarot, zero, the zero card, 0 point, leap of faith.
Oh,
Uh,
like a shamanic hero's journey, something like that, right?
yeah. I have a question, human design related,
Mm-hmm.
real quick. So I'm not too. If you can tell me about like a split definition or what that means?
Mm-hmm.
Think for my chart, I have a split definition. Not sure where, what. Yeah.
So if you don't know where, I can only tell you general wise. If you, I think you have, like you say, you have solar plexus, and then it has to be connected to something. And since you're not a manifester, it's not connected to the throat. So it's either connected to, and you're not a generator, so it's not connected to the sacral. So it's connected either to your heart center or to the root. Um, and then split definition basically means, let's say you have um, 4 centers defined. That's the minimum that you have to have in order to have a split definition. And let's say your solar plexus connects to the root, and then your throat connects to your head, let's say. But in between of them, they don't connect. So it's like you have one hub of 2 centers and then another hub of 2 centers, but it's not one continuous stream of energy. For example, I have single definition. I have spleen connected to root. If I had spleen to root, to something else, to something else, to something else, it doesn't matter. But if it's all within like a big train with multiple wagons. Well, what's the word? You probably know a better word. Yeah.
Car, train
What?
cars.
Cars. Yeah. Wow. That's that was nice. So you basically have two trains, right? That's split
Okay.
definition. Again,
Oh.
trains. Again, nice, nice.
Train of thought.
So that could be a
Well,
thing. Maybe you have like a train of thought, which is an energy that's always present within your mind. But then you also have the train of emotions, which is solar plexus authority. I'll have to see the chart, but that's basically it.
okay. Yeah, any recommendations where I can pull up a chart real quick?
Oh yeah. My body graph or myhumandesign.com. We can actually, yeah, let's pull it up together and then we can look at it if you want. Let's go
Body graph.
my human design.
I'm on there.
All right, 6-2 emotional projector.
Wow, okay. I got it up. I used to share a genetic matrix account with a few friends, but they stopped paying for it. So I don't have access to that. But that's where I used to look at my chart and other stuff related to it.
That's a good website. You wanna share me the chart screenshot?
Sure.
I wanted to ask you what's up with Dragonheart. Is that like a nickname? Is that how did that come about?
Oh, so that came to me um late winter last year. 'Cause prior to that, since maybe like between 2020 and 2021, I've been getting a lot of downloads about dragons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, let me send this to you. I mean, I can go in depth on that. It's a whole story, but yeah, basically I don't know, just having in my awareness about like the energy of dragons and the symbolism of it, and I kind of got not obsessed, but like, like, oh, why is this popping in my awareness all the time? Let me get to the bottom of it. Let me dig a little deeper. Okay. Oh, it's like a new version of embodiment for me, I guess. Like, because before, for example, like when I change my username on a platform, I tend to do it on all platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I don't often do it unless I really feel called to and it resonates. Um, so my handle before used to be Leophidian, like Leo and Ophidian, which is so Leo the lion and Ophidian is snake or serpent. Uh, Surface level, that was because I'm a Leo sun and I was born in the year of the snake.
Mm-hmm.
But it went deeper than that, where it's like a representation of my polarities or like inner alchemy work. Like, oh, you have this energy represented by a lion and a snake. And then at some point it was like, how can I like marry these to merge these two and like embody a more whole version of
Mm-hmm.
myself? And then I got the downloads about the dragons. I was like, huh, put them together actually. it's kind of like a dragon. You put the lion and the snake together.
It is. It is. Now that you, yeah, now that you say it,
Yeah.
you know, there's that
Yeah.
old movie Dragonheart.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't want to rip off the movie Dragonheart, but like it made the most sense because I didn't want to like I didn't want the representation of that energy to seem hierarchical at all. Because like I had changed it to what could it be? What could it be? Dragon Steward. It was Dragon Steward for a while. But like I'm not gonna put like Dragon Knight or whatever. Like these are like kind of egoic in a sense. So it's like, what's the purest thing that like
Mm,
convey that concept, right? So Dragonheart.
I love that. I was used
So
to call myself, like in elementary school, it was Dragon Head, so that's why it intrigued me. Yeah.
yeah, nice. All right, sent you my chart.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We got. Okay, so you have the same variables as me. These are the arrows next to your head. You see how the left one's pointing right and the right
Yeah.
one's right and left. I have the same configuration.
Okay.
That means we both have a strategic mind that likes to
Mhm.
compartmentalize and plan, but everything else is like feminine and receptive and going with the flow. So I can tell you
Uh-huh.
right off the bat that this configuration is like you don't even know like the depths of your own wisdom until someone asks you.
Oh shit. Uh,
it's
spot on.
it says it is it is said that we need to be as relaxed as possible in the environment and be chilled
Hmm.
out with the body until somebody asks us something, and then the strategic mind is activated. And
Mm.
if we try to take the strategic mind, you see how it's 1 against 3. Then you're trying
Yeah.
to kind of bend the body and it never works. And I've tried it a million times.
Ooh. That makes sense.
What else? So
Mhm.
yeah, you see how you have a root connected to solar plexus,
Is that the last two squares?
square and
Mm.
triangle, yeah.
Okay, okay.
And then you also have the throat connected to the diamond in the middle.
So it's done. Okay, I see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you see how it's not interconnected, so it's like this is one hub and then this is the other hub.
Hmm.
That's the split definition.
Right. Okay. Mhm. So what does that entail, considering what centers those are?
So that means that you have this consistent energy going from the root to the solar plexus and back. It's kind of like a emotional wave that you're gonna have your ups and downs no matter what's happening in the world, no matter who's around you, if you're alone on a mountain meditating or in the middle of the city. So solar plexus authority is basically you shouldn't make decisions based on the emotions because they come and go like irrelevant to what's happening on the outside.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you have this other hub which is throat connected to the G center, and this specific
Yeah.
channel 1-8, number 1 is the creative, and number 8 is like the curator. Let's say number 1 is the artist, and number 8 is the curator of the gallery for that artist. So
Huh.
does that come up? So you basically, your throat is gonna have the energy of expressing, like being a marketer for artists, something along those lines.
Okay. Hmm. Interesting. uh, huh. Huh. Are you familiar with what is it? The gene keys?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Ooh. Yeah, a couple of years ago, I had this friend that we would get on calls on Discord and just like have these like study nerd out sessions with the gene keys and human design and astrology. But
Nice. So what's been up, um, like other than the human design? What do you feel? I'm giving you space to wander in the mind or in the emotions to speak about like whatever. I'm gonna do
Okay.
the HR. Like, are you pleasant? Are you pleasant working in? Is it pleasant working in our company? Is there something?
Can
Is there any feedback you would like to give about Rainbow Bridge and I don't know.
can I share something real quick
Oh,
though
yeah,
before I
yeah, yeah.
so like you just saying that made me realize, huh? So this is what like projector medicine feels like from the receiving end, because I'm the only projector in the physical space, and like I like last year when I first moved here, or even before I moved here, I was like I had this joke, and when people ask like, "What do you do?" like I would say like shamanic HR.
Exactly.
Move the energy. So like for you to facilitate that for me it was like, oh shit, this is what I do. Uh, that's funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, before we got on a call, we were all outside doing some yard work as family. The children were playing in the piles of leaves.
Mm.
It was fun. We had to cover a garden bed with a bunch of the leaves so it can mulch, prepare it for when it's spring again. And I cut up some potatoes, but I found out they need to be left out or to sit to cure for a few days before we plant them. We completed that, winded down, got some food, hopped on the call. That's very like uh based in the moment type of thing. But yeah, a lot's been going on in the quantum in my experience here with everybody at Rainbow Bridge, but also in my like personal experience. I'm not gonna say it's bad or it could be, I could say challenging, but not like all the time 24/7. I'm spiraling. No, it's like, just having all these moving parts my awareness can sometimes just be like, huh, I need to lay down. I need to just like observe the thoughts and the emotions that are coming through. You know, that's why in my flow here in the physical, it's like, okay, me being the only projector and, now that, Rachel moved here and she's familiar with human design, she's like, oh, Fred, you can't just be go, go, go. That's not sustainable. You're a projector. You need your rest. You have a strategic mind. Like, huh. Okay. So yeah, now it's like once that was established and in everybody's awareness, it was like, okay, now I can communicate when I'm like, yo, I need to lay down for a few minutes. And they'll get it now. Like that's pretty cool.
That's amazing.
Well, that's the broad scope. If you have any specific questions from that, that's cool.
I remember you said something about when we were on a call last time as a community. You said something about some like family stuff resolving. How's that going?
Oh, yes. So, yeah, there's a few things going on. So my family back in Guam. So a few years ago, 2017, my brother and I dropped out of school to help take care of our dad who was sick and semi-bedridden. So now, years later, he's retired. He's not in the best shape, health-wise. And since I'm here and not there, um, I'm trying to coordinate help from some of my friends there to help them move their belongings out of a house that we basically abandoned and stopped paying rent for because we were in another space to help take care of my dad. And yeah, so my brother went to pick up mail from there some time ago, and he noticed a lock on the gate. So the neighbor told him, "Oh, a realtor came by and was talking to neighboring houses. They're selling the place." So he has to get in contact with whoever put the lock on and make arrangements, get a storage unit, and then I coordinate um, with some of my friends who have trucks to help them move things out of that house. Yeah.
That stuff.
Yeah. Then also got Soul Fam here in another state that's in the hospital. So that's part of my experience of what I'm processing and moving through as I still do other things and show up here.
That's what I got from the call when you said you have a lot of like a lot of tabs open alongside.
Literally good. If I look on my computer right now, I have all the tabs open.
All the tabs.
All the tabs. How
Yeah,
about
man.
you, dude? How are you doing?
What? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Oh, how I directed it back to you now. How are you doing? What's going on in your reality?
I definitely agree with the tabs. Like, but it's my fault, you know. It's not like nobody's doing this to me. Nobody's making me open 1,000 projects at once and trying to multitask and yeah. I love the you know the meme of it's a few slides. It's a guy or a girl riding a bike, and then they take a stick and they put the stick in their own wheel, and then they fall down, and then they say something like, "Oh, it's the leftists" or whatever. But no,
Yeah, I see that.
I love that analogy. Like I just have to accept all the places where I'm putting sticks in my own bike, and
You know what that reminds me of,
mm-hmm,
if I can share?
mm-hmm.
Um, Something about sacred clown energy. It's like, or like trickster energy, where
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the joke is on them, but they're the ones who did it. Like you, but yeah, there's.
I resonate with the trickster a lot. I don't let it out as much. I don't know about you.
I don't talk about it as much. It's just something that's in my awareness. Like, oh, this is what I'm called to like embody. I guess in a sense, in my own kind of way.
I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to do that. I have a lot of I don't know shame or guilt about it. I guess it's perfectionism, you know. But it's an archetype. It doesn't have to be destructive. It could be playful. But then again, we have to we have to kind of see what it means for it to be just playful. But I feel that all that I've ever seen is destructive trickster energy. I don't know about you.
Maybe that's the I guess you could say there are more beings who embody the destructive side of that archetype than not. If that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Who do you know? Like, I'm thinking like first person is like Jack Sparrow.
Yeah,
Who do you have of the archetypes like that from fiction?
Rafiki.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, you know, he's silly. He's sometimes a little cryptic, but he's like a way shower, and he's just embodying like himself.
Now I wanna get a stick and slam it on people's heads.
I actually have a stick that kind of looks like Rafiki's stick. I picked it up on the land here on a walk last summer when we had a bunch of people living here. It was actually a silent meditation walk down to the spring, and we had some mushrooms before the walk. And we're on the trail, and there's this tree in the forest, and there was a stick leaning up against the tree, and the tree was like telling me to take the stick. And the stick saved my life because I almost fell into the spring. I stubbed my toe on some concrete and I almost fell in. I'm like, oh shit.
Nice.
It caught me with the stick. But yeah, Rafiki, he's like talking to the wind, you know, he's like up in his tree, like,
Mm.
so like, if another being were present in his process, I'd probably think he was crazy. That's kind of how I felt like for most of my life, um, living where I grew up. Like, I don't know, like I had this perception that other people just perceive me as like, oh, he's weird, he's crazy. Like, oh, it's just Fred being Fred. I'm like, ah, Fred, you crazy. I'm like, what? So I'm like, okay, well, what can I do? Expand my horizons, meet people outside of fear, or That's why I left. I'm like, okay, it's not the only reason I left, but
No, just give me a second. I have an alarm here. One second. Yeah, what you just described is the hermit.
Mm.
But yeah, Rafiki, man, like you said, like he's who knows what's in those those what does he crack? It's not always coconuts. It's some exotic fruit. I think it might be some Lion King psychedelics. I believe it's a
Right.
metaphor. I believe he is portrayed as a shaman, and he opens up and takes a little taste and then draws the lion. And yeah, I love Lion King as well since I was a kid. So
I try to make it a point to watch it at least once a year. I might have skipped a year, but
nice.
so yeah, my mind is going down a few rabbit holes right now from this conversation so far.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, in the meantime, um, let's continue that thread. Fictional characters that fit that archetype.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like piecing things together in my head.
I have some from anime. I don't know if how much anime you've seen.
Oh, I've seen a lot. I like anime.
Hisoka from Hunter x Hunter. You know her.
Oh, my brother. I haven't seen the whole thing, but I'm somewhat familiar.
All right then, I'll find some other. Oh, I saw The Mask the other day with Jim Carrey, so that's a really good one. What is said like that the jester is the only one who can um, make fun of the king in the old courts. And there's a
Yeah,
song. Mm-hmm.
some. I'm pulling up a couple articles I can share with you later about like sacred clowns and trickster archetype. Almost, I'm gonna read a little here.
Mm-hmm.
Almost all types of sacred clowns combine trickster spirit with shamanic wisdom to create a kind of sacred tomfoolery that keeps the zeitgeist in check.
Mm. I feel like I've talked about the same thing with Luke yesterday. We talked about like stand-up comedy, but like a new version where um, it's combining spirituality but making it so people are not like very very serious and very zen about it, but they can actually laugh about it. So I would love to I would love to try that someday, and I kind of see it in him as well. Like he said something about,
Yeah,
right? He like I haven't seen all his stand, like many of the stuff that he did, but just from the talk that we did yesterday and from a little bit,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, you can go ahead if you have something.
No, I'm okay. Thank you. Continue, please. Uh,
So we talked something along the lines of I don't know who he mentioned this other person Sasha saying
right.
um, like my mom has been roasting me my whole life, telling me that I'm nothing, and now that I'm enlightened, I see that like she was right. So this is my type of humor and comedy where it's like, okay, we are all one, we are all the void, we are all nothingness. But at the same time, it's kind of poking fun at myself. I love humor that is self-detrimental, but that can be spun around, and I can kind of feel it.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, that does relate to what we're talking about. You're right.
Like in a sense, I've connected that I see Luke as this trickster that is like a stand-up comedian, but at the same time, kind of weaving in the shamanic stuff.
Yeah.
What kind of drums do you play?
Oh, drunk. Okay. Yeah. Um. Yeah. You see me post a couple times on the Telegram. Yeah. So for most of my life, my parents, my dad got me into music. That my parents are not that they don't come from a musical background, so they were like, "Oh, this might be a good thing." And I've never really been a percussionist or a drummer at all until like recently, but not like your typical, drum set with the cymbals and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's like indigenous drum, like with a hollowed out tree trunk and the leather from the animals. I'm like, what? Sort of like it's got a shamanic vibe to it. And I realized within this past year of me going to these drum practices that, this is a frequency device.
Mm-hmm.
It's a frequency amplifier, this drum, and our voices together. Like, there's something there. So yeah, um, on Wednesday we have another gig as Bull Valley Singers. We'll be singing, drumming at a powwow event. It's like a social gathering that showcases indigenous culture and traditions. It'll be cool. It'll be fun. And after that, we're gonna go to preschool and sing and drum for little kids for the next generation. Man.
I
Yeah,
try.
like I said, like
Mm-hmm.
the, the drum wasn't my like forte growing up and dabbling with music, but I've loved to sing, but I've always like kept it to myself for the most part. I guess, the phase one of the sixth line, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Really kind of in the shadows, like not using my throat to express. But yeah, now that I've been here, it's like that's been opening up. Like, whoa, okay, like I'm just doing what I like to do. But then it just so lines up with these opportunities that allow us to like put that frequency out there. I'm like, oh, and I'm not doing it alone either, so it's pretty cool.
I frequently go into like this old way that we've been taught that some only certain people can be singers and only certain people are talented to for acting or for stand-up comedy, and okay, some people have the vibe more, or some people less, but or like when I remember when I was growing up, it was like, oh, this person is a sports type and this person is not. Like in the movies, like jocks and nerds. It's just it's just what you've been focusing on your most of your life, but it doesn't mean that you can't take up singing or drumming at like 50 years old and be good at it. I think that's but I think that's a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, for sure. I guess that plays into, what we're about, like rewiring the subconscious. Never too late for anything. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can see where there could be certain roadblocks or delays, like, the older the pattern to rewire, the longer it might take, or,
Mm-hmm.
or the older the wound, the longer it might take to heal, or something like that. I don't know. Or- Cool. I found some cool articles I want to send you
Mm-hmm.
about sacred clowns and tricksters and heyokas and such.
Have you been going through them right now? Is there anything interesting you want to read?
Sure, yeah. So this one is entitled Seven Signs You May Be a Sacred Clown. Um, doesn't look like too long of a read. Like actually, some people have reflected to me. It's like, oh, you have a cool reading voice. You should do voiceovers or
That's true.
audiobooks on
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. So I can start with it's enumerated. I can start with the headings for each
Mm-hmm.
of these points. So, seven signs you may be a sacred clown. Number one, you have a robust spiritual flexibility. Ooh. Okay, let me send it to you, and if you want to follow along, like, are you down if like we just read the whole thing?
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah, let's do
One. I sent it to you. Doing as others told me, I was blind. Coming when others called me, I was lost. Then I left everyone, myself as well. Then I found everyone, myself as well. Rumi quote, "You understand that faith without doubt is spiritually myopic, leading to naive presumption, and that doubt without faith is spiritually hyperopic, leading to the bondage of reason. Both leave the third eye blind. Faithful doubt or doubtful faith leads to the opening of the third eye and dissolves the opaque weight of heaven and hell, thereby freeing the spirit not from anything, but for something. A good sense of humor. Oh shit. Okay. And so you choose to be motivating, but not manipulated, to be useful, not used, to make changes, not excuses, to excel, not compete. You choose self-esteem over self-pity through humor of the Most High. You listen to your inner voice and not to the random opinions of others, although you take them into consideration as integral aspects of your art. You choose to do things others won't, so you can continue doing things others cannot. You mix the sacred with the profane and mock the religiosity that gets caught up at any point in between. You're the ultimate governor of transitions from one state to another. You have been called upon to reestablish the bridge between the physical world and the spiritual world through the sacred art of metaphor and play. Whew!
Wow.
Want to unpack that first section? Let's talk about it a little bit.
I'm amped up, man. This is getting me fired up.
Ooh, what stood out to you the most from that part?
Um, where is it? So good sense of humor. Um, you choose to do things others won't, so you can continue doing things others cannot.
Uh-huh.
And you are the ultimate. This one, I think this is one. This is the one. You are the
Yeah.
ultimate governor of transitions from one state to another.
Uh-huh. Oh boy.
Shall I continue?
Sure, yeah. Or can I ask you something?
Yes.
So from that sentence, transitions from one state to another, where in your life do you see examples of that, or in your experience?
Emotional alchemy in interactions with people, and kind of like seasons and like unexpected situations in life that I can turn around into good stuff, and also like physically resources. I really love recycling things and making new stuff from like one man's trash is another man's treasure. I really about that.
Repurpose.
Repurpose, exactly.
Nice. What stood out to me also is the last sentence there. We've been called upon to reestablish the bridge between the physical world and the spiritual world through the sacred art of metaphor and play. So, I think it might be a hermit thing, that archetype, the two, where I will actually I take that literally for the most part. Like people who are around me a lot will know can tell you that I do speak a lot in metaphor and analogies. So an example of that I can think of that shows up in my life experience is when I go to ceremony for Sweat Lodge, for the native ceremonies here. I've been in the role of firekeeper for the past year. And what that entails is, I'm tending the fire. I make sure the fire keeps going. And there are these lava rocks that are in the fire that we heat up. And my job is to bring those rocks from the fire into the lodge. And the lodge dome represents uh, the womb of
Mm,
Mother Earth. So the masculine fire coming into the womb. So I'm the
mm,
facilitator of bringing that energy, of merging those energies. And a couple of months ago, we had a lodge where it was really intense and a lot was going on. And what was reflected to me later on, or what was told to the people inside about a little bit of what I'm doing, is that I'm essentially or literally in and out of the spirit world because everybody is inside the lodge when we start, but I'm the only one
mm-hmm.
going in and out to bring the stones in. So every time I go out, I'm stepping between worlds, essentially. So whether I take that as metaphor or literal, that's exactly what this article is talking about.
Yeah, like literally, if you want to take it as aura field, like the people inside the lodge, they all make like a little grid, and you are coming in and out of that bubble. So it's definitely
Yeah,
literal. I love this. Mm.
energetically, yeah.
And you're a projector, which makes it even easier, you know. So wow.
Yeah. Ah, shall we continue with this?
How do you like my lava rocks?
Oh boy. Yeah, I miss going to sweat. We had to reschedule, cancel this month because a lot of people were not feeling well.
Hmm.
Lava rocks.
All right, shall I continue?
Yes.
Number two, you deflate the ego and animate the soul. The most exciting phrase to hear in life, the only one that heralds new discoveries, is not eureka, but rather, that's funny. This, this is a quote by Isaac Asimov. Your ego is clay, malleable and puppet-like. It is your tool for higher transformation rather than a weight that drowns you in the mundane. You use it to inject wakefulness into an otherwise somnambulant world. Your ego is secure enough to be vulnerable and ignite the fire that becomes soul. As the ego deflates, your soul blossoms and assumes the interdependent state of eco-consciousness, subsuming cosmos. Your self-expression is your art, animating an otherwise inanimate world. Half animal, half divine, Hermes-like and mercurial, your feet are roots that dance and your hands are wings that fly. You're torn between worm and God. Wow. But you appreciate the tearing. At the end of the it's like, yeah. At the end of the at the end of the day, ego is the tool you use to leverage the universe, and soul is the instrument you use to harmonize with the universe.
Wow.
All right.
Whoa.
This
Whoa.
torn between worm and God is I feel we can tie this with your snake and lion. Snake is the worm
Yeah.
and lion is the God, right?
Yeah. Holy shit.
Okay, I'll tell you what stands out for me, and then you can go. Mm, this part. Your ego is secure enough to be vulnerable. So I feel like this your ego is clay and puppet like, secure enough to be
Uh-huh.
vulnerable. When we talked about Jack Sparrow, I often see him, you know, with his hands up in the air, running like almost like a little schoolgirl or something. I love I love that 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 sense of uh, the feminine aspect that you're not afraid to show, like especially in society where men have to be so rigid and to seem strong. Every single time that somebody kind of mistakes me as maybe being homosexual, or I feel so good. I feel so relaxed because then I'm like, okay, good. I don't have to defend anything. Like you already
Right.
see me as this fool. If somebody sees me as a fool, I immediately relax.
Nice. Uh, Secure enough to be vulnerable and ignite the fire that becomes so wow. Yeah, right before you said that one, like that's exactly what I was looking at also.
Mm, nice.
uh, yeah, this whole section like resonates with me. Like I don't know if this is a projector thing or not, but sometimes for me, like I have this inner knowing of things, or like this understanding of things, but it doesn't always translate into words. It kind of like there's like a lag until I get the words for it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
But you know what I mean? There's like there's something there, like pin it in my brain or like take note to self. There's something there. There's nuances. There's these layers. It's not just this thing that is presented at face value that people seems like, oh, it's this, but no, it's all these other things too. But it's all still one thing. I don't know. That's where my mind goes. You know, but, okay. I guess the part where that made me think of that is um, as the ego deflates, your soul blossoms and assumes interdependent state of eco consciousness, subsuming cosmos, whatever that means. I feel energetically what I just shared is related to that that line is what made me think of that.
mm-hmm. I understand. I understand completely.
All right, next one.
Mm-hmm.
You embrace uncertainty. Before I get into it more, I will say so backstory. I found this article a few years ago. When I read it, it was just like this wave of confirmation that just hit me, and it was also reassuring. It was like, oh, so I'm not crazy. This is my life. And it's not like a label thing where I see people online. It's like, oh, they put on their social media, Sacred Clown or Heyoka. It's not a title. It's I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's just if it's present in your life and you're made aware of it, just like connect the dots. Anyways, uncertainty. I have approximate answers and possible beliefs and different degrees of certainty about things, but I'm not absolutely sure about anything. Quote by Richard Feynman. I believe he was a scientist. You have the ability to let go of certainty, understanding that the opposite of certainty isn't uncertainty, but openness, curiosity, and willingness to embrace paradox rather than to choose sides. You question things to the nth degree, understanding that healthy skepticism is an open door for novelty and otherworldliness to come in. You are adept at introducing paradox, as you are okay with being a walking paradox yourself. You humiliate your certitude, recognizing that a background of mystery always remains. You You daily practice the art of open-mindedness and consistently embrace the art of hypocrisy, understanding that we are all fallible creatures who are prone to mistakes and tend to be afraid of being wrong. You have no fear of being wrong. It's probably something I've worked a lot on. That, it hasn't always been okay. I'm like, is that really where I'm at? Like, I think most people are conditioned to fear being wrong.
Yeah.
You have the uncanny ability to capitalize on your mistakes by making all stumbles, falls, or missteps a part of the overall sacred dance. You are drunken master. You are jester guru. Your duty is to crack open the hard shell of certainty to reveal the certain godling softly blooming inside us all. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. So for me, like this whole section stands out and like resonates deeply with me, but what my takeaway from it is that part at the end where it says you have the uncanny ability to capitalize on your mistakes. So it's like that gives me, a little bit of assurance that, whatever path I've taken so far to get to this point, it's like it's all good, like if I hadn't had certain experiences, would I be here? Or, be this version of me in this now moment at this place or wherever I'm at, right? It's like, okay. It's kind of like, it makes me think of the energy of, like rolling with the punches. Saying.
Yeah, the drunken master. Yeah. Yeah, yes, exactly. Same one.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I don't know if you know, if you saw the part in Dragon Ball where Goku fights Jiren. No?
Remind me who's Jiren again?
Jiren, the gray in the tournament.
The red suit. Yeah, yeah. Oh, Dragon Ball Super. Yes, I remember that.
And when he gets the Ultra Instinct, which is basically just full on, like every single part of your body is responding without you even thinking, and there's no breathing room between. And that's what triggers the Ultra Instinct, is his own spirit bomb collapsing onto him. So it's like life pushes you into a corner, and then there's nothing else that you can do but to roll with the punches until it's over. I feel like my whole life is just rolling the punch, like since it just never stops. I don't know.
Oh, man, dang, I hear that. Wow.
You have anything else, or should I continue?
No, that's good. That's beautiful. Nice.
Okay.
Next.
You have the ability to hold the tension between opposites. The trickster is the embodiment of contradiction, creator and destroyer of norms, clown, monster, giver of fire, creator of worlds. Having such a confounding figure at the center of one's worldview helps to keep the mind nimble as it moves between opposites, both creating meaning and tearing it down to make room for new creation. This is by Louis G. Herman. You have the ability To live between worlds, preferring the peripheral neither nor to the limiting either or. Your shadow is white, your halo is black, both demonic and shamanic. You blur boundaries and transform them into horizons. There's some Latin here, I'm not going to pronounce that. A unity of opposites is your call to arms. You realize that only by throwing ourselves off of our high horse, by diving off the pedestal, by laughing at what before we took too seriously, can we stretch ourselves into becoming. You stimulate others to think dialectically, coaxing them to stay open to the flow of thought, from thesis to antithesis to synthesis to metathesis and back. Your skills, your skills pull light into dark and launch the gray into sparks that catch fire to consciousness. You are the tug-of-war rope between ought and naught, balancing like Nietzsche's Übermensch. Except God is not dead, for you know that we are all our own gods, creating and destroying the world to our own myth and art. You are the infinite player tripping up the floundering finite players because you understand that reason operates in service to imagination, not vice versa. Okay, I'm just immediately. You are the infinite player tripping up the floundering finite players. Here, immediately, I just thought about Rafiki with the snake.
Oh, I think okay, speaking of Rafiki, another character with the archetype comes to mind. The grandma from Moana.
Oh, that I saw Moana a long time ago, and I know it was amazing. And I told to myself, I need to see it again because it has a lot of codes. It has a lot of
You do.
wisdom.
Yeah, but yeah, the Moana's grandmother, she's like the village crazy old lady that just stands by the water and talks to the water and dances, but I mean,
Nice. I'm gonna watch Moana tonight because I
yeah.
thank you for reminding me. I now remember that after watching it, I was like, make a mental note. There is something in this movie you need to come back to, and I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna find out.
Oh boy. Mm. Yeah, I think for me, like just the whole concept of ability to hold tension between opposites like resonates
Mm.
deeply for me, and it's like a like a general explanation of like tip of the iceberg explanation of how my mind works that not everybody will grasp or understand right away unless you have a mind like that too.
Mm-hmm. If I can just interject here, it's one of the hallmarks of having both the ajna and the head open, which you have, and
Okay.
it's also in gene keys. It is the highest frequency, the gift, the superpower frequency of these gates in the mind is being able to use the logic that usually people use. For example, I don't like that person. And then the logic at the shadow frequency is gonna take 1,000 different angles as to why you don't like the person. But if it's a gift frequency, then that same energy is gonna use 1,000 different angles to explain something to someone. To give them okay, is this working? Can you understand? No. Let's try this approach. No. Let's try that approach. No. So that's like, yeah. I'm the same. I have
Okay.
also both the ajna and head open, and it's very reassuring for me to read this because it's kind of like
Right.
the whole world is trying to be certain, And then if you're not certain, you seem flimsy, you seem like you don't know what you're talking about. But who the hell actually knows what life is like? What happens when you know that's these things cannot be, you can't be certain about them.
Uh-huh. Nice. We understand that reason operates in service to imagination, not vice versa. Wow. All right. You ready for the next one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Number 5, you promote radical egalitarianism and mock all tyranny. Ooh. There is something in the nature of all play that is not serious, but at the same time can be sincere. By Alan Watts. You understand that modern day societies cannot stand real fundamental criticism, whereas tribal societies were strong, healthy, and secure exactly because they could withstand real criticism.
Oh.
The main reason for this was because the role of the sacred clown. As a sacred clown, you understand the necessary function of deflating the power dynamic of any system of human governance, especially quote unquote absolute power. You remind those in power of their own fallibility by planting memes, insurgent music, satire, and rebellious art like seeds into their fragile invulnerability. You empower the average individual to become a proactive citizen by promoting radical egalitarianism, thus curing the system of nature deprivation and anoia, the disease of the soul that results when we forget our partnership in sacred community of being. You understand that human beings have an innate need to expand consciousness and to experience direct relationship with the divine, and that spiritual impoverishment is directly related to our nature deprivation, our systematic enslavement of each other, our bureaucratizing of the soul, and our misunderstanding of the fundamental interconnectedness of all things. Thus, through your art, you count coup on any and all tyrannical systems. Whoa.
Bam.
Yeah, fuck yeah. uh, so what comes up for me there is basically that's a confirmation of where my path has taken me so far, you know, like leaving my family, leaving Guam. That's one of the big reasons why I left, because as I was becoming more aware of our shared experience on Earth and what's happening in the world around us, it was like I was seeing that the people around me in my geographic location and, you know, my immediate surroundings, that people are oblivious to a lot of things. And there's no motivation or drive to want and create better. So that's, you know, and because of these like systems and tyrannical systems and whatnot, and I see how it all, like, basically, like a few years ago, I connected a lot of dots through all of like other people who talk about this stuff, like that I would find podcasts on and videos on online. And then I started branching out and actually talk to people who were on the same wave of um, discovering truth, I guess. So yeah, this is a big part of why I'm here, how I aligned to Rainbow Bridge, because of this sentiment that this section um, conveys.
I believe I talked yesterday with Luke also that, yeah, this jester archetype, it's definitely, you know, the connection shamanic and humor, and it's a it's like a news outlet. It's like a person who tells it like it is, but they have the power to do it in a way that people can digest it, sort of. And that's kind of like the Bill Burrs of this world, the Louis C.K.'s of this world, the George Carlins, the, you know, the,
Carl,
yeah, the dark.
Bill Hicks.
What? Bill Hicks, yes. And I feel that my whole, like, I've been doing these Q&As for the last 2.5 years on Insight Timer about human design, and it's like a live session where people come and there's a lot of people there and they can donate. And in so many instances, people would come and they ask me like a spiritual ended question, and I give them the answer, but then I
Yeah.
also interweave a little bit of dark humor, and it's 50-50. It's always 50% of people stay and become glued to it, and 50% of people become so immediately triggered, and then they report me, and then whatever, because I tell it like it is.
Yeah. Dang. uh, yeah. Okay. So building on that, like, an example, or I've seen in mm, my life and interactions with people of that is like, when somebody comes over Rainbow Bridge and hangs out or helps out with projects, I get to know them, and we vibe, and then they will ask me certain things, and if, for example, whether it's Luke or somebody else, or they'll ask me for an insight about something that they share, and I'll listen a bit, take it in before I respond. Okay, I've been invited to chime in, so I'm like, okay, here's my moment as a projector, but like, um, yeah, I'll sit with it for a little bit, and I'm like, kind of going through this internal process of how do I convey it specifically for this person? Because not everybody will receive the same information in the same way, right? So like, I guess that's where it comes in, where projectors work well, like one on one with people. You can focus your aura and like tune in to that person. So like when I do that, it's like it just comes out and flows naturally, and I'll convey the information to that person in the way that intuitively makes sense to me that they will receive it. Yeah, I'm often like uh, not necessarily mediator, but like when we're communicating something as a team, you know, being the quiet projector, just listening to everybody and observing, and then there isn't a comprehension of certain information, and then everybody looks at me, right?
Yes.
Like, okay, how can I say this in a different way that everybody can understand? Here's what I'm seeing. Here's what I'm hearing. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely feel that too. I agree with everything. I agree with everything you said.
Nice. Okay, two more sections on this thing.
Nice. I'm loving this. All right. Shall I continue?
Yeah.
Number 6. You're a moral agent par excellence. In an atonal world, one must oppose it in such a way that one compels it to tonalize itself. Slavoj Žižek. Nice. He's from the Balkans. I'm also from the Balkans, right? So that's why.
Nice.
You amorally rebel, therefore morality exists. You are the medium, the go-between, the impossible bridge. You understand that the charm of life exists precisely in its inconstancy. Between essence and appearance there is consciousness. There is you existing in a delicate pirouette of transcendence and immanence, a coup de theater of higher awareness. But your morality is sacred, with the understanding that one must be amoral in order to transform immoral action into moral fortitude. Your way of taking this immoral world seriously is to disrupt it amorally and then give it a moral form. Dionysian, your art is jest and madness, mockery and frenzy, tomfoolery and balderdash, tautology and malapropism. Oh my god, what is this? But it balances the Apollonian forces of order, rigidness, apathy, reason, contentment, logic, and boredom, resulting in an even playing field of open-ended meta-realization. You are the perennial Gesterato, a bold outlaw clown. You openly declare to the world, you can have your moral high ground, I'll stick with my amoral middle ground, and astonish you all.
What? A world middle ground. So essentially, it's talking about neutrality, but also like having an awareness and being able to wield extreme opposites.
And in like a light way, making fun of them at the same time.
So cool.
Yeah, I also get a lot of shit for this sometimes because every single person in this world has things they're very serious about and things they don't it's just not important to them for one little bit. And then if you have two people in the same room who have the exact opposites, so what is very important for me, you never think about it, and vice versa, then I don't want you to make fun of my serious thing, and you don't want me making fun of your serious thing. And then you can't know um, what everyone's serious thing is. And that's the root of all the people getting triggered and offended by jokes nowadays, because you can't tell a joke expecting nobody will be offended. And then this is the thing that I feel that the jester inside of me comes alive when people make things so serious in life, when they are like, this has to happen, or I must achieve this, or whatever. And then the fire just starts boiling inside me, and I go like, oh my god, is that really that important? And I just want to make fun of it, just because it's such big drama in this big theater of life. If you get what I mean.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I can relate to that where like now it's like I'm more relaxed about it. Like, okay, this is a thing that like this is what I guess my energy or presence can bring awareness to or trigger in certain people, or whereas when I was younger, it was like it was frustrating for me being in these situations where I've had to, you know, embody this part of it. It's like it can be frustrating or like awkward when you're just acting on your inner knowing and instincts to
Mm-hmm.
try to and not even try to do anything. We're just trying to balance things out, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and it's either, yeah, like what you're saying earlier, 50-50. uh, but, one reason why I've been able to relax about it is like the the awareness that, oh, I've planted seeds. Like, that's the best I can do
Mm,
at that time. Give it time. You've planted the seeds, Fred. Just sit back, relax, see
mm,
what blooms.
nice.
And I have um seen and experienced that, like, for example, my friends back in Guam, even my close friends, they, I don't think they know anything about human design, but they would often like refer to me as some type of hermit archetype.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, he's the weird magic one of the group. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, but like now that we're older and I'm not with them physically, it's like I've since this reestablished connection, and they've reflected back, like, huh, you were right in a sense, right? Not that I was looking to be right,
Yeah.
but the seeds were starting to that I planted years ago is starting to make sense to them. And it's like, huh, see, like now you get it. And then that will propel them onto their own journeys. Having that new awareness. It's nothing new. It's not information that I started or came up
Mm-hmm.
with. It's
Yeah.
information that I'm just tapping into, that I'm
Mm-hmm.
just a vessel to convey or express. All right. Last one.
Let's go.
You move between metaphor and reality by contrary means. Yeah. Forget safety. Live where you fear to live.
Mm,
Destroy your reputation. Be notorious. By Rumi. You understand that metaphor is the ingredient added to the recipe of language that makes the pen mightier than the sword.
mm,
It is a way of dreaming away from the world only to return with new knowledge. Sacred elixir in tow. You are coyote and crow,
mm,
fox and phoenix. In practical realms, there lies a radical hope that you are the walking personification of that hope, walking quote unquote backward when others are walking forward, inverting language when others are being direct, twisting circles into infinity symbols and back,
mm,
playing devil's advocate. You are the trickster god personified. You are the human leitmotif. You are the heyoka that subsumes all heyokas, past, present, and future. Through your myth and metaphor, the world takes on a majestic meaning and an enchantment that goes beyond merely a self with an eye observing the object of the moon. What? Whoa. Let me read that again. Through your
mm,
myth and metaphor, the world takes on a majestic meaning and an enchantment that goes beyond merely a self with an eye observing the object of the moon. Wow.
mm,
Through myth and metaphor, I and the moon become sacred things, interconnected and synergistic, and you subsume both through artistic self-expression, donning moon mask, dog mask, eagle mask, whale mask, all masks in your sacred dance over the abyss of the human condition. Whoa,
mm.
bro. Conclusions.
I love destroy your reputation. I love walking backwards when others are walking forwards, inverting language when others are being direct, and twisting circles into infinity symbols, playing devil's advocate. I feel like this is the part that kind of like, okay, yeah, I can be dead serious about things. I can go, let's talk about human design. Let's talk about how, like, let's sit down. How are we gonna grid up the entire world and have a renewable energy and all this stuff? But then in the next 5 minutes, I could make fun of all that and be like, we're all dead in 500 years. Who gives a shit?
Yeah. Contrary means. So for me, like I've read other articles also by the same author,
Mm-hmm.
and, just like that just confirmed what my experience has been with this kind of like contrarian energy. Like I do, with the trickster archetype, sacred clown, Hyoka, whatever, it's like I do see where that plays into my reality of um having this contrarian energy, but it's not necessarily what people think it looks like or expect
Mm-hmm.
it to look like. So, for example, it's just, it comes naturally to me that whatever environment, setting, or group I find myself in, there are certain aspects of um, how I show up that, it's not like a pre-planned, calculated thing that I decide to do. It's just like how I am in certain situations or settings is
To be naturally
there's a
posed.
yeah, there's a layer of it that's like I'm doing basically what other the status quo isn't doing, or
Mm-hmm.
like there's something else that like I'm it's not necessarily in opposition, like
I know. I feel the same way. I know what you mean.
for example, I like examples. If you just like root it into the
It's built into the
3D.
system.
For example, so yeah, in the last few years before I left Guam, it was like, okay, with my peers, it seemed to be I was doing uh contrary to what everybody, everybody like, went to school, got a job, 9 to 5 job, working for, whatever. Like, there's just ins, and but then there's me. That's like I'm like the village crazy old man that lives on top of the hill, like 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 not doing all that. I'm like, why do I gotta do that? Just
Mm.
voice my questioning of the status quo, and everybody's like, "Oh, you're crazy." Like, why am I crazy for like, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. Hey, or if the energy or vibe of a place is uh
Off.
predominantly feminine energy, or like if it's too much feminine energy, it gets chaotic, or if it's all like hippie party vibes, right? Like sometimes I'll fall off about that and be the serious one,
Mm.
Uh,
I totally resonate with that. I have like many examples where I'm very picky about environment and what I focus and like pay attention to and where I put my body and what search like around certain people, everything. And then even in situations where I've been, let's say, to house parties that are everything I was looking for. Like you have your room where they're playing drums, you have your room where they're just talking and sharing, chill out. You have your I don't know, techno rave place. You have an outdoors fire. You have a good balance of men and women, and it's just amazing. There comes a point in the evening where I'm like, okay, but this is all cool, but I feel it's absorbing me. I feel I have to distance myself a little bit just to stay an individual. Even though if it's amazing, if it's the best possible thing, still it's the best possible thing absorbing me, and I need to be a little bit against it, even though it's amazing.
Hmm. Yeah, that's fun. The, the so when it comes up for you, does it is it like an itch or like an urge to
Yeah,
just
it's yeah.
flip the script?
Yeah, divine chaos.
Yeah. Can I share something real quick?
Sure.
So, speaking of chaos, um, so late 2016 was when I was starting to become more aware or wake up to certain things. That's when I was connecting the dots. And one of my catalyzing points or starting points to what? I don't know. Sometimes I can't put words. My awakening. I guess I should say like one of my um initiatory avenues. I guess was a chaos magic. I was learning a bit about that. Not that I was practicing it, but I was like,
Mm-hmm.
learning about it. I'm like, huh, this is interesting, and it just opened up this whole other like occult esoteric thing. But then also, I was like feeling the vibe that a lot of people in these circles online are like too serious about the whole occult
Mm-hmm.
esoteric philosophy thing. Like, yeah, it doesn't have to be all like academic or
Mm-hmm.
like all heady and serious like that. Like there's a like I didn't know how to put it into words at the time, but there's a how can I embody this or apply it practically? Like take uh, the knowledge and confirmation of what I can observe from the world around me and just like align with it.
Yeah, and make it lighter, make it fun, make it, you know, I get it, I get it.
What time is it there right now?
9:09.
Oh, wow.
Shall we wrap this up? I need to take a pee and I'm gonna go for a walk. What are you gonna do?
Oh, I'm probably gonna clean the bathrooms. Or one bathroom.
Yes. All right. Thank you for um, allowing me to record this. I'm gonna upload this to YouTube probably now, um,
Yeah.
tonight.
Cool.
Um, so if you want, I don't know, send me stuff in the chat on Telegram if you want some of your stuff, links, if you have it, whatever. Just send me stuff if you want me to put it in the description, and send me an image. Send me a picture of yourself. You cool with that for a thumbnail?
Cool, yeah. You can do that.
All right. Thank you. This I'm gonna name the podcast However It Flows. So
Okay. Oh, that's the title. However it flows.
yeah.
Nice. HIF. HIF. Yeah.
All right. Fred Dragonheart, close us out. However you feel like.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Our TED Talk. Yeah, this was fun. I enjoyed it. This actually reminded me of a podcast I was invited to participate in a few years ago, where the friend who hosted it, we were talking about authentic awakening and the sacred cloud stuff. So this was kind of like a rehash for me, like a coming back around to that energy and topic. So thank you.
Thank you, friend. All right. To everybody listening, this was the first one. Thank you, Fred, for coming, and enjoy whatever anyone is doing, and see you next time. Peace, health, and abundance. Welcome to the channel. Subscribe, like, leave a comment below, ask a question, or share your story. Check out my audio courses: Human Design Basics, Intermediate and Advanced, Human Design Projector Masterclass, and Elemental Balancing course. You can listen to the first lesson of each course for free. Once purchased, stream as much as you like and learn at your own pace. Check out the testimonials from happy students. Join the League of Wanderers community. You can join on the weekly community and support calls. You can book one-on-one personal human design reading and coaching calls with me. You can join us on the Insight Timer app for stress release movement classes and Q&A sessions. There is a newsletter you can sign up for, and there are my free ebooks to download. My merch web shop is available if you would like to get my original artwork and designs printed on a variety of high-quality products. You can also contact me for commissions and graphic design work. Last but not least, you can follow me on Instagram. All the mentioned services and offerings can be found on icreatelines.com, and also check out the description of the video for more details. If you have any questions of any kind, if you would like to collaborate, if you want to come on a podcast, or you have suggestions and feedback, don't hesitate to contact me. I wish everyone peace, health, and abundance.